What does your week typically look like? Break it down for us.
My week can be quite varied at times, but I guess there's probably a few main areas that I work or matters that I complete. The first would probably be conducting legal clinics. So we run twice daily legal clinics, which is basically an open Teams forum for people to drop in and ask their legal questions. And we aim to provide some quick legal advice then and there. The other main area is looking at contracts, whether that's contract review, contract drafting, contract amending. I would also review and amend various agreements, including customer agreements based on our standard templates, or third-party agreements such as vendor agreements, partnership agreements, integration agreements. Sometimes the business might also want to engage in something quite bespoke, draft from scratch a contract for that sort of arrangement. I'd also provide ad hoc legal advice throughout the week, on commercial matters, legal matters, sometimes just pointing someone in the right direction, process, compliance, things like that. Most of the time we have standard templates that the business can use for their agreements. However, occasionally the business does require something bespoke, so I will assist in preparing that agreement for them. The other thing I get involved in is internal projects. This might be revamping precedents, helping legal ops, looking at providing feedback on certain products marketed towards lawyers, or even getting involved in some of the rule of law initiatives that LexisNexis runs.
You mentioned reviewing partnership and integration agreements. What are the key risks to look out for in these?
So there are a number of key areas we look out for when reviewing partnership agreements or integration agreements. The big one being warranties, indemnities, and liabilities. Obviously, you want to limit the warranties and indemnities you're providing and exclude or limit, as much liability as reasonably possible. You also want to consider, what risks you might be exposed to through any third parties you're dealing with, any partners you're dealing with, and potentially put in place some warranties and indemnities to protect yourself from any of those risks that might arise. If the partnership agreement or integration agreement deals with intellectual property, you want to have a look at a few key things, such as who will own the intellectual property, what you can do with the intellectual property, if the use that's granted to you under that agreement reflects the commercial realities of how you want to use that intellectual property, and if you're giving a license, looking at whether you can actually give that license. If we are using the partner's intellectual property, we usually want to see a warranty that they have a license to let us use that intellectual property, and that it won't infringe the intellectual property rights of any third parties. And accompanying indemnity is also ideal. This is to generally cover off any intellectual property infringement risk where conducting due diligence is beyond our ability or control. The third main area of risk we look out for is compliance. We want to make sure that anything in the agreement doesn't give rise to or set us up for any potential breaches of applicable law, or the rules of any stock exchange of our parent company. We also want to make sure that the obligations in the agreement aren't in excess of applicable laws or what, as a global organisation, we are willing to accept. We also want to make sure that there isn't anything contrary to our organisation's global policies. Other things that we look out for are things that could impose a reputational risk or a financial risk.
How do you actively promote the value of the legal team beyond legal advice within your business?
Beyond legal advice, I think the real value we provide is accessibility. And this is not just accessibility to us as lawyers, but also accessibility to legal advice and legal documents. And legal documents that the business can access without having to come to us. We do this by promoting our twice daily legal clinics, where the business can drop in and ask quick legal questions. We also provide a legal quick fix tool, which allows the business to input its questions and receive automated legal answers and sometimes template responses that they can go back to customers or third parties with. The other way we do this is through our legal chat function, where this is just basically a forum where the business can post legal questions, which we endeavour to answer quickly as well. Additionally, we provide a range of pre-approved legal documents that the business can access, again, without having to come to us, as well as informational documents on internal processes and workflows.
So looking forward, where can in-house counsel drive improvements and innovation?
From what I've seen so far, there is already quite a lot of automation and self-service options available in-house. However, I think there's definitely room to expand upon these options to drive efficiency and accessibility. I'm really excited to see what technology we can implement to make these improvements, especially through AI development.